Good morning, everyone. Okay, it is not 9 a.m. It's only 8 a.m. I'm going an hour early. I apologize for the change, but I had a message that is really, really important today. It is the number one strategy to help you take your life to the next level. Um, I had this really interesting conversation the other day where I met a teacher that I had taught with years ago, and she said, you gave up teaching? What are you doing now? And I told her that I was coaching. And she said, what do you mean by that? That was the first thing I was like, what do you mean? What do I mean by that? And she said, what do you do as a coach? And I said, I help people to stop dreaming and start being so that they can have it all in their life, that they can take those wishes and turn them into burning desires and have everything that they want. And then she said to me something that was so, mind blowing to me. She said, people actually pay you for that? And in that moment, I realized that not a lot of people really know what personal development is all about. And I thought about where I was 5 years ago on my journey and how I had no idea what coaching was. I had no idea what personal development was. And when I heard it for the first time, I was like, what? People pay for that? So I wanted to share something a little bit vulnerable with you today. So most of you know that in 2015, my husband and I separated for the first time. What I don't talk about and what I didn't share with you is that that experience was actually very, it was full of resentment, bitterness, frustration. I remember going on vacation with my friends to Portugal. And I remember getting off the plane and I was checking in with the kids and checking in to make sure everything was fine. And I remember a 5-minute conversation when I got off. My friends asked me, what the heck just happened? Like your whole body language, your whole demeanor, everything just changed about you. And it was my experience of being with my ex-husband at the time that I was just angry and bitter and resentful. We did not have a great breakup. In fact, I could not stand being in his presence, and he couldn't stand being in my presence. We ended up getting back together, and in April, we separated again. This time it was very different. This time it was full of love, gratitude, appreciation, love for each other. And so people ask, like, what is the difference? What was the difference between then and what is the difference between now? Like, how did you guys create this? And I'm going to say magic because we are co-parenters. We can hang out together. Not hang out, but go to volleyball games for our daughter. Like, how is this even possible? And this is the number one strategy that I want to share with you guys. The number one thing, and the reason why I sourced that conversation was to get really present to this. The one thing that's missing that would make a difference in your marriage, in your life, in your career, in your job, in your business, is awareness. And I know it sounds kind of cliche, or maybe it's like, yeah, I know, Tina, but I really want you to think about this. The reason why I was angry and frustrated and bitter in 2015 had nothing to do with my ex-husband. It had nothing to do with him, but it looked like it was over there with him. It looked like it was his fault. He was saying this, he was doing this, he was being this way. But I never stopped to think about how I was being. What was the impact of my way of being in the breakup of this relationship? And I didn't have the level of awareness to see the impact of my way of being. And so when I saw the impact years later, unfortunately, after bitterness and resentment and frustration, it came together like, holy cow, it was like mind blowing that just seeing yourself, being an observer of yourself, how it really shapes your reality. It really shapes the way you see the world. And it really shaped how I saw him in the relationship the second time. And it didn't work out, but it was so amazing. I remember I was coming back from a silent retreat and I had all of these realizations, this personal awareness that just came up. It started showing up for me. And it was really profound. And I said to him, like, I really want to go for a walk and talk about some things, and I don't talk about our relationship a lot, because him and I have a mutual respect that I'm going to respect our personal life. But so many things have been coming up that have me want to talk about this, because I know there are people that are going through something similar right now, and they're feeling alone, and they're feeling like they're guilty or shameful, like their circumstances are impacting their way of being. So I can't keep this silent anymore. But I remember we went for a walk and we had a very powerful conversation. And in that conversation, we both agreed that we had done the coaching, we had done the work, and we were trying, and it was just not working. And not because there was anything wrong with him or there was anything wrong with me, but together we weren't bringing out the best in each other. And we were trying and trying to make something work. And energetically, it wasn't fitting. And I remember, like we said, like, what is next? I mean, what do we do next? And we both agreed, like, we get to have a divorce. We get to love each other, be co-parenters, but we don't have to be in relationship with each other. And then we started talking about the next step, like, what do we do? And we operate, because we both have had personal development. There's only power in now. We actually went home and sat our daughters down at the table, and we told them that we were getting a divorce. Like, it was very clear. It was very aligned with what we both wanted. And the next thing that happened was actually miraculous. We ordered a pizza, we played cards, and we talked about our feelings about what was happening. We talked about what the next steps were going to be. We talked about what it would look like. We talked about how we were going to live together and we were going to go through this together. That is not ordinary. I want you guys to see that. And not because we're extraordinary, but because we've had a different level of awareness to be able to get to that point where we could have these conversations, where we could take out a meaning and attachment. We could be with our daughters and their feelings and emotions, and they could express their feelings and emotions. And that's what we did. For months, we stayed living in the same house, talking, expressing, communicating, talking about our needs and our desires and what we want, helping each other find a house. Like, I want you to see that it started with awareness of noticing ourselves. Like, when do we get triggered? When are we reacting? And being 100% responsible for that. And I didn't know 5 years ago that this world could be possible. I would shake when I heard his voice. I would be angry, resentful, bitter. He would be angry, resentful, bitter. How does that happen? How do extremes like that, how is that even possible? It is with awareness. It is with awareness. Now, I didn't grow up in a family where we were talking about personal development. I had never seen anybody shift profoundly like that. I didn't know that this world existed. And I don't know if any of you can relate to this or can resonate with this. I'm just checking in with the comments. But for me, this was just like, I had this experience of myself that I am the way that I am. This is the way that I'm going to be. I'm happy with myself. Even when I was going through the divorce, when I was angry and bitter and resentful, this became my reality. This was normal. And I didn't realize that my circumstances were just my circumstances, but who I got to be in those circumstances was up to me. Who I get to be is up to me. And so when I took this on, and when Chris took this on, that's how we were able to create magic. Things don't have to be bitter. They don't have to be resentful. They don't have to be angry. And we don't have to be together. So I wanted to share this message. I mean, I'm sure some of you who get my emails, I had totally a different topic planned, because I plan my topics a week in advance. But this morning I woke up and this was on my heart. I don't know why, but I just know that if something's on my heart, I get to share it. Now, when you are in a situation, a circumstance that's not working the way that you want it to be, sometimes you might have the experience of there is no solution, there is no possibility. Maybe you might even have the experience like, it's going to be too hard to deal with this, whether it's a health concern that you have and you know that you want to release weight, you want to really take on your health concerns. Sometimes we see that it's going to be too hard and we focus on how it's going to be too hard. If we're in a situation with our relationship that it's going to take some work, what we do is sometimes we're afraid of the work instead of realizing that it might actually not be that much work when you're aware of what's blocking you, when you are aware of what's stopping you from having more freedom and joy. I have seen miracles happen, you guys, miracles, relationships being saved, people releasing, excess weight, people who have been in psychiatric hospitals that thought like I'm crazy, there must be something wrong with me, that have transformed their life, gotten off medication. I mean, I've seen everything in between. And the one thing that was common is they just developed a certain level of awareness. They saw what was in their blind spots. They saw what was missing that would make a difference. That's it. That is it. And see, once you see it, you can't unsee it. Then it becomes a choice. And then the actions are not at the top of the mountain and taking on thousands of hours of training and development. It's one little action step at a time. And then another realization, another awareness, and another step and another step. So let me know what you're hearing in this. Let me know what you're seeing for yourself. Maybe some of you that are watching are coaches. You know a lot about awareness and personal development. And this is just like your reality. But I'm speaking to those people that this is kind of new. Maybe you've been watching me. Maybe you've been seeing my journey. Maybe you've been kind of dabbling in this thing called personal development, personal awareness. And maybe you've had some beliefs that it's going to be too hard, or maybe it's good for them and not good for me. I want to say to you, that is not the truth. It's just what you're telling yourself to keep you stuck and to keep you stopped. Okay, so what's it going to take for you to start believing in yourself, believing that you're worthy of just exploring what's possible? This is my message to you today. This is my message for everybody. This is the message you're going to hear me say all the time. The beauty in personal development is that shifts can happen right away. Shifts can happen like today, in a moment. You might even be seeing something for yourself right now. And if you take action on that, if you look within, it can be transformational just from seeing something that you couldn't see before. So I wanted to say thank you for being here. Thank you for the change. I had to switch a coaching conversation. And so I normally every single week I'm at 9 a.m. For those of you that are disappointed, I'm sorry, I apologize. But you can catch this replay at 9 a.m. too. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you all. Have an amazing day. And know this, you are worthy, you are deserving. Everything you want is available. You just got to be willing to go grab it. Okay. Mwah! I love you guys. I'll talk to you soon.